The Knicks clearly have one agenda in mind: to stockpile assets, build this team the right way, and trade for that disgruntled star that they want once they become available. However, it seems like the media has its own separate agenda because they continue to try to push one superstar to the New York Knicks. You already know who I'm talking about: LeBron James. But thankfully, a report recently came out suggesting that the New York Knicks were shutting down all of those reports. We're going to break down this and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now and make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks are not interested in LeBron James. Could there be a better way to start off a show than with that news, with that announcement? For the last few weeks, ever since LeBron James came over here and the picture was floating around with him with the New York Knicks towel around his neck, there were so many reports suggesting that potentially the New York Knicks should look at trading for LeBron James. Is LeBron James sending a message that he wants to join the New York Knicks? Well, thankfully, after this recent report, we can shut it all down. Shout out to The Athletic for giving us the following information. Despite all the focus on James' recent trip to New York, where he sent all sorts of pro-Knicks signals, a league source indicated the Knicks brass has not discussed the prospect of adding James. But you know we couldn't just stop there. I had to get a little bit more information about the situation, and I'm happy I did. Take a look at this. First of all, again, the towel over his neck. It sent headlines around the NBA. A towel over somebody's neck. Can we think about that for a second? A towel of the New York Knicks was over his neck, and it turned into a national story. You gotta be a superstar if you're getting that type of attention for a towel. Moving on, though, as the Athletics author explains, the Knicks won't have cap room in free agency to make a run at James if he declines his $51.4 million option. And shredding salaries would mean parting ways with important rotation players. The Knicks view the possibility as a serious setback to their long-term plans. I think that may be the first time we've ever heard LeBron James mentioned with the phrase serious setback. Because let's face it, LeBron James added to any team usually mean that team is a championship contender. But unfortunately for LeBron James, he's getting older. Age and father time, something that's undefeated. He can still look good, and individually, he still looks amazing. I don't know how he does it. But LeBron James is also known for another thing: making other players around him better, making the team better. While he's been trying to do that, he can't sustain that for a season. And it's clear because the Lakers haven't done that for a number of seasons. He can look good individually, but the ability to affect his team, make his team play better, it seems like those days have passed him by. So in my opinion, trying to trade for LeBron James, who would likely cost you a lot even right now, makes no sense because you'd have to give up a lot. He's not the same player he used to be, and you likely need more pieces even after you add LeBron James at this stage in his career. That's why you have to make sure if you're the New York Knicks, you're looking around the league for other players, other opportunities, things that make more sense than a LeBron James. And thankfully, Leon Rose and the New York Knicks and this new front office, they realize that. They understand that. They know that LeBron James is not the answer, not anymore. That time for LeBron to be in New York is gone. If he wants to come here in free agency or we can steal him, I'm okay with that because I can recognize who he is, his skill set, his talent, and what he's still doing today. But if you're telling me that the New York Knicks should trade for LeBron James, you must be out of your mind. No way. Not today. Who do you think he is, Luka? Joker? No way. If those guys aren't on the table, then what are we talking about here? LeBron James, yes, legendary career, legendary still himself, putting up numbers nobody thought he could do with the Lakers right now. But that time for him with the Knicks has all but passed him by. Should have happened 10 years ago if it was going to happen. Now, it's an afterthought. Please stop pushing this. Please stop pushing this narrative. We don't need him. We don't want him. Real New York Knicks fans do not want to see LeBron James in the Garden. Maybe you want to see him as a fan visit the Garden and you want to see a competitive game. No fault for that. But you don't want to see him wear the orange and blue. Not now. It would be distasteful, in my opinion, for the Knicks to even make that trade. Imagine the assets the Knicks would have to give up to swing a LeBron James trade. And would they be better after they did that? In my opinion, it would be a big, fat no. Because you likely have to give up Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, and a couple of other key players. That doesn't make sense if you're the New York Knicks. You're sacrificing so much, in my opinion, to get back a LeBron James, who in this stage of his career is only going to give you just a little bit of LeBron that you've been accustomed to watching over these last few years. And if you're getting this much LeBron and trading this much for him, does it make sense? Because in my opinion, it doesn't. The Knicks clearly have an agenda in mind to trade for a star or superstar player this offseason. That's why they're stockpiling assets. That's why they were careful when they made these trades during the trade deadline to keep all of their first-round picks and also keep all of those protected first-round picks that they own as well, too. They did that for a reason because they want to make sure when that disgruntled star, whoever that star may be, becomes available, that they can go ahead and trade for that player if they want him or they covet him. And I also understand that some players, if their teams flame out or don't do what they need to do in the playoffs, may become trade targets in the offseason. I understand that as well, too. I know how the game works. Potentially, LeBron James could fit that bill. I doubt it because I doubt the Lakers would ever let it get that far. But honestly, you never know what could happen in the NBA. But if I'm a betting man here and I'm putting my money on it, I don't think LeBron James will qualify as one of those disgruntled stars come this offseason. But there is likely going to be a lot of other stars available. Some stars we're not even thinking about right now because it seems crazy to think about them right now, but maybe in a few months, if their team doesn't do what they need to do, maybe it becomes a reality. I would love a Devin Booker. I would love a Donovan Mitchell. I would love a Luka. I would love a couple of these other players around the league. But the only way we can start talking about them is if their teams don't show up. And honestly, some of the teams we're talking about, Cleveland, for instance, do you have faith that Cleveland's going to show up this year? Do you have faith that Cleveland's going to bring it in the playoffs? Because I don't care what they're doing in the regular season. It's the playoffs for them. If they don't convince Donovan this playoff series, this postseason coming off, they can wave goodbye to him because he's going to leave. And all signs are going to point to him coming to the Big Apple, him coming to New York, and him really coming home, joining the New York Knicks. That's a possibility. You think if the Suns don't do what they need to do, that Devin Booker's name won't be mentioned? I think you would be wrong if you believe that because he's been there for so many years. He's a competitor and he wants to win. And depending on what the other stars do on that team, it could change everything for Devin Booker. Let's not weigh that out as well. All I'm saying is there's going to be options. There's going to be many options for the New York Knicks this offseason. All they have to do is do what they've been doing. Be patient, wait, and see what, how many, and if that star they want becomes available, whoever it may be. They obviously have their favorites. We named a few just now, but anything can happen, and the player you're not even thinking about may become available, and maybe that's the new player the New York Knicks want. We have to just be patient till the offseason and wait and see what happens and who realistically becomes available for a trade. But as of right now, the Knicks have put themselves in perfect position to trade for that star if and when they become available. Leon Rose, Worldwide West, Gerson Roses, they all deserve praise from the entire fan base for the New York Knicks because we've been wanting a team like this, a competitive team with assets to boot. We have all of that, and going into this offseason, regardless of what happens, we're likely going into next season a better team. Think about that. This team is not even at their apex, not even at their ceiling. They have a ways to go, and potentially that ceiling could be the NBA Finals. NBA Finals consistently, year after year after year. That's what I want as a Knicks fan. That's what I want to cheer for as a Knicks fan. That's what I want to go see as a Knicks fan each and every year. We're on the cusp of that. We're close. We are so close. And I can't wait for Leon Rose and the Knicks to pull the trigger and get that player that we've all wanted and coveted for so long. But thankfully, that player is not going to be LeBron James. But what about you guys? What do you think about the media constantly and continuing to push this narrative that LeBron James needs to join the New York Knicks? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.